Was a horrifying crime scene in one of the district's holiest places. Police say this man in the gray sweatshirt, 48-year-old Dorsey Mack of Brightwood, ran over his ex-girlfriend twice in the parking lot of the National Shrine. The landmark is where she worked as a security guard. And tonight, new police statements reviewed by WUSA 9 reveal a chilling confession. Before officers took him into custody, Mack said, quote, "I tried to kill that expletive." But that was only half the alleged crime. Responding officers also found a trail of blood on the floor of the Basilica and a broken knife handle on the ground. Police say Mack stabbed a second security guard, but both of them survived. A Basilica spokesperson offered comments on behalf of the rector.
He not only prayed for our security guards who were victims, but he also prayed for the perpetrator. That is who we are here at the Basilica.
As for why and the question of motive, police said the man was a jealous ex-lover of the female security guard. He thought the guards were in a relationship, but they were not. Police said the man had threatened to kill her before and even installed spy software on her phone.
Mack now faces 2 counts of assault with intent to kill. He's being held with no bond until his next court date in January. Adam?